This is CBN Newswatch.
And thank you so much for joining us on this Tuesday, June 8th, 2021. I'm Ephraim Graham. Ahead today, Vice President Kamala Harris traveling to Central America, trying to deal with the border crisis as the Biden administration faces tough criticism over its handling of the situation, including from former President Donald Trump. The FDA approves a new drug to treat Alzheimer's, but there are serious questions about its actual effectiveness and possible side effects. We'll talk to our medical reporter, Lori Johnson. More on that. It sounds like something out of science fiction, artificial intelligence, but it's here actually and growing more powerful. We're going to take a look at the potential benefits as well as the danger. And Rick Warren stepping down as pastor of his mega church after 42 years. All those stories and more are ahead in this edition of CBN Newswatch. I want to begin this half hour with Vice President Kamala Harris trying to deal with the border crisis by visiting Guatemala and Mexico. Her goal is to address some of the root causes of migration from Central America and hoping to discourage people from coming to the United States. This comes as the Biden administration has come under fire for the situation at the border, including from former President Donald Trump. Here's CBN's national security correspondent, Caitlin Burke.
The vice president's trip comes as record numbers of migrants continued across the U.S.-Mexico border, something that many Republicans and former President Donald Trump himself blame solely on the Biden administration.
You look at our border is wide open. Illegal immigration is skyrocketing at a level that we've never seen before. And this is over a period of a few months. America is being demeaned and humiliated on the world stage.
It's been nearly 3 months since Biden assigned Vice President Harris to focus on slowing migration from Central America. Republicans pushed for her to visit the U.S. southern border, where as of early May, officials were holding more than 22,000 unaccompanied minors. Instead, aides say she's been meeting virtually with key immigration players in an effort to put together the administration's official strategy. Tuesday marked Harris's first in-person action as she sat down with Guatemalan President Alejandro Giammattei.
The reason I am here in Guatemala as my first trip as Vice President of the United States is because this is one of our highest priorities, and I came here to be here on the ground to speak with the leader of this nation around what we can do in a way that is significant, is tangible, and has real results. And I will continue to be focused on that kind of work as opposed to grand gestures.
The Biden administration has proposed $4 billion in aid to Central America over the next 4 years, with an additional $310 million already committed toward humanitarian relief and food insecurity. The hope is that will lead to economic stability and curb migration.
And I want to emphasize that the goal of our work is to help Guatemalans find hope at home. At the same time, I want to be clear to folks in this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek to the United States-Mexico border. Do not come. Do not come.
While Harris plans to continue working on this economic strategy, she also emphasized cracking down on corruption, which has undermined U.S. aid in the past. Caitlin Burke, CBN News.
A major political development along the border, McAllen, Texas, a major border town that is 85% Hispanic, just elected a Republican mayor. Hispanics had traditionally voted Democratic, but Axios points out the voter analysis found that Republicans made more inroads with Latino voters through YouTube in 2020, voters often ignored by Democrats. For the first time in nearly 20 years, the FDA approved a new drug to treat Alzheimer's disease. 6 million Americans suffer from the brain disorder, but while there is excitement surrounding this new treatment, medical reporter Lori Johnson tells us there's also concern about whether it's raising false hopes.
Biogen's new Alzheimer's drug, ADUHELM, is a monthly intravenous infusion with an annual cost of $56,000 without insurance. It could be the most lucrative product in pharmaceutical history, judging by a 40% stock increase when news broke of its approval. Still, questions linger about whether it works. One study showed no effectiveness at all. The other showed a slight reduction in the rate of decline. While this limited evidence prompted an independent advisory committee to discourage approval, the FDA still gave the okay.
What's important about this is that there was, of course, some controversy and very complicated sets of data that many people had different opinions about. But importantly, the FDA actually approved this today under accelerated approval.
Not everyone shares that enthusiasm.
Well, I think we would all love to have a drug that works with respect to Alzheimer's disease, and unfortunately, this is not that drug.
Alzheimer's expert Dr. David Perlmutter is concerned about significant brain bleeding and swelling detected in trial participants, and the fact that ALZHEIMER'S is for people with mild symptoms.
It's actually designed to be used in people who have what's called MCI, or mild cognitive impairment, which, to be fair, is a harbinger for future Alzheimer's, but this should not be construed as a treatment for Alzheimer's disease.
The drug claims to remove amyloid plaque in the brain, but Alzheimer's researcher Dr. Dale Bredesen says that substance is simply a barrier protecting the brain from attacks.
The big problem here is that people have equated amyloid with Alzheimer's. These are two quite different things. The amyloid is a response to what's inducing the Alzheimer's, whereas Alzheimer's is the disease. And just getting rid of amyloid, that's not getting rid of Alzheimer's.
Bredesen says the best way to reverse the disease is by identifying and treating things attacking the brain, like metabolism, pathogens, and toxins. His clinical research documents hundreds of patients who improved by following this plan. So while the FDA claims ALZHEIMER'S could offer new hope to Alzheimer's patients, others advise lowering expectations.
And Lori Johnson joins us now with more. So, Lori, let's begin with this. The concerns about the drug being approved, even though it hasn't shown much effectiveness.
Right, and so that's the main concern, is it does raise false hopes, according to so many medical experts. So the question is, why would the FDA approve a drug that showed little effectiveness or no effectiveness whatsoever in clinical studies? And the answer may be multiple, may have multiple answers. Number one, I heard one medical expert say this was sort of science versus business, and business won. We have to remember that yesterday was a fantastic day if you had Biogen stock. And also stocks rose for other companies, pharmaceutical companies that produce Alzheimer's drugs, because basically the message was, even if you have an Alzheimer's drug that doesn't work or barely works, it'll still get approved and you'll still make a lot of money. There's also a lot of concern where doctors and other people are coming out and saying, yay, this works, and it's giving false hope to people who have Alzheimer's. And we know just on an emotional level, that's very discouraging and disappointing.
Indeed it is. What about the potential side effects? Are there any other concerns here?
Right, so the side effects are very serious. We're talking about brain swelling. This is very painful for people who experience this, and also brain bleeding. We saw this in a very significant number of people who took this drug compared to people who were on a placebo. And also we know that it's very expensive. So we're talking about some serious possible side effects, a very heavy price tag, and does it work? We know that in very few people for a very short period of time, it's slowed down the progression of the disease, but it didn't reverse it. So ultimately, the best case scenario is it slowed down the progression just for a little while, but ultimately the end result was the same.
Oh. Let's switch gears right now and turn to COVID-19. There's growing evidence and support from various sources that it did come from a lab in China. You talked with the director of the National Institutes of Health. What did he say? So we're talking about the coronavirus origins. So did it come from an animal to a human, or was there a leak in the lab? And now there's a growing mountain of circumstantial evidence, and it's important to point out that there's no hard evidence, but
lots and lots of circumstantial evidence showing that it did come from the lab at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. So yes, Dr. Francis Collins, who's a very staunch Christian and who's the director of the NIH, I spoke with him for about a half an hour and interviewed him, and he said he still thinks that it did originate from animals passing it to humans, but he staunchly supports an investigation into the possibility of a lab leak. And the reason he thinks it went from animals to humans is because that's how most other coronaviruses and really most other infections started. We know that HIV/AIDS came from an animal, Ebola and Zika, and of course the other two coronaviruses, SARS and MERS, and the list goes on.
So why is it important to understand the origin of the virus?
Well, the main thing is because we are looking ahead for the future. We know that it's important to understand how this pandemic started because what about the future? So were there some gain of function, these dangerous research studies being conducted in these labs? And if so, we need to make sure that we stop that type of research for fear of another pandemic, for example.
All right, Lori Johnson, thank you so much. Much appreciated. I want to let you know that you can watch Lori's full interview with Dr. Collins on Healthy Living. You can catch it this evening. It begins at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, and you can find that on the CBN News Channel. A major development in the evangelical world. Saddleback Church pastor Rick Warren is stepping down from his position as lead pastor of the California megachurch. The Orange County Register reports Warren told the church in a video, "For 42 years, Kay and I have known this day would eventually arrive, and we've been waiting for God's perfect timing. That's always been my goal, to serve God's purpose in my generation. God has given me the privilege to serve multiple generations." The 67-year-old said he will continue to serve as lead pastor until a successor is in place. There's no timeline for the search, which will look at candidates both inside and outside the church. Coming up, a major breakthrough in cybersecurity. The Justice Department recovers millions in ransom paid by Colonial Pipeline to a cyber criminal gang in Russia. And it comes with a warning to cyber crooks. We're going to have the full story when we come back.
Too often, we carry baggage from our past. You know what it's like. It affects everything and everyone in our lives. It's always there, weighing us down and keeping us from achieving true happiness. But do you know God never meant for us to be trapped in the past? You can be free of your baggage. Learn how God's forgiveness leads to changed lives and new beginnings. Call the 700 Club.
I'm Ephraim Graham, and this is Studio 5. Cruise with me as I discover the good things happening in the world of music, sports, television, and movies.
The fact that Ryan Coogler was going to be directing the film, I knew that something special was going to happen.
We'll chat with artists at the forefront of entertainment and explore the connection between popular culture and faith.
I asked my pastor, I said, well, does that mean I'm supposed to be a preacher? He says, well, no, you already have a pulpit.
Wednesday night at 8:30 on the CBN News Channel.
Tikkun Olam.
This is our nature as a country.
To make the world a better place.
Literally, we felt the earth shaking.
The Christian Broadcasting Network presents To Life, how Israeli volunteers are changing the world.
This film needs to be seen by everyone.
I was in tears.
Now you can own the inspiring documentary To Life on DVD.
There is blood on our hands if we know and we walk away.
I'm so grateful that this film was made.
To Life can be yours for a gift of $10 or more. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to CBN.com.
We know that every minute counts to save life.
It'll bless Israel, but it'll also bless all the friends of Israel.
Discover the untold story of how Israeli volunteers are making the world a better place. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to CBN.com to get your copy today.
Introducing a brand new way to start your morning. Get your daily quick start from CBN News. A quick read on the important news of the day delivered right to your inbox. Stay current on breaking news, politics, and entertainment. Discover how God is moving around the world and here at home. Plus, get exclusive stories and daily scripture encouragement just for you. Stay informed. Go to quickstart.news and subscribe today.
A cybersecurity breakthrough. The Justice Department has seized millions of dollars in ransom Colonial Pipeline paid to a cybercriminal gang in Russia. The federal government warning cybercriminals they will be relentless in fighting these crimes and urging U.S. businesses to do more to protect their systems. Jenna Browder brings us this story from Washington.
The Justice Department was able to recover $2.3 million in ransom paid by Colonial Pipeline to Russia-based DarkSide, about half the full amount. Still, though, the federal government is warning businesses to be on high alert and to take extra precaution.
Today, we turned the tables on DarkSide.
A new task force scoring a big win against ransomware hackers.
We deprived a cybercriminal enterprise of the object of their activity, their financial proceeds and funding.
The hack shut down pipeline operations for 6 days, leading to panic buying and gas shortages up and down the East Coast. Colonial ultimately paid $4.3 million. The Justice Department recovering the equivalent of $2.3 million in Bitcoin. The FBI using the criminal gang's private key to access their cryptocurrency wallet.
This is a first, as far as I know. How they did it.
These attacks becoming more and more common. The nation's largest meat supplier, JBS, targeted just last week. And the SolarWinds attack on U.S. government entities, highlighting vulnerabilities and Russia's involvement. The Biden administration is warning businesses to act now to protect themselves.
Pay attention now. Invest resources now. Failure to do so could be the difference between being secure now or a victim later.
The Biden administration is also making plans for a response to the Russian government for harboring these cyber criminals. President Biden is expected to meet with Vladimir Putin next week in Geneva. In Washington, Jenna Browder, CBN News.
Still ahead, self-driving cars, virtual military warfare, robots side by side with people. It sounds like something from science fiction, but it's all becoming real. We're going to bring you a look at the benefits and the dangers right after this.
Are you suffering from feeling tired or worn out during the day? Can you not turn off your brain at night? You are not alone. Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Bruce, the sleep doctor, and I've partnered with the Christian Broadcasting Network, and we're going to bring you some unbelievable information that you can use tonight to get a better night's rest.
Wake up to your best life. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com to get your free copy of Protect Your Sleep today.
Nutrition, exercise, essential oils, weight loss, and more. It's Healthy Living with Lori Johnson.
Talk about what's in this.
Join CBN health reporter Lori Johnson to get the latest information from today's top health experts.
This is fantastic.
Find out what you need to know to live a healthier life. Watch Healthy Living Tuesday night at 8:30 on the CBN News Channel.
Superbook fans, here's something else you'll love. It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! Whoa!
Phillipsburg Falls man, come.
Sorry, pardon me. Sorry, excuse me. Ouch!
Are you getting this?
Earn super points to win daily prizes too, and so much more. Time to get back to my adventures. See you soon. It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
Watch breaking news, in-depth exclusive stories and programs from health to entertainment you won't find anywhere else. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Enjoy credible news reporting from around the world. Discover inspiring programs and stories of hope, all in one place from a Christian perspective. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. To watch the CBN News Channel, download the app or visit cbnnewschannel.com.
It's the stuff sci-fi movies are made of. Self-driving cars, robot companions, virtual military warfare, and it's now unfolding for real before our very eyes. Eric Phillips brings us a look at the rewards and the risks of artificial intelligence.
From self-driving cars to robot companions to war fighters, artificial intelligence is taking a prominent role across all industries. And while that's not necessarily a bad thing, experts are concerned about losing the human touch. Self-driving vehicles are no longer futuristic, they're the here and now. But could this form of transportation, powered by artificial intelligence, overtake good old-fashioned driving?
I do think that the consumer relishes in humanity and in the rush of driving.
Gerson Moreno-Riano is the Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs at Regent University, which has launched what's called Project Quantum, with a heavy emphasis on the ethics of AI.
Technology is very, very important. It's very useful, obviously, but ultimately is what we think about God, or a society or a culture thinks about God, and what a culture or society thinks about human beings and the nature of humanity that will drive how technologies are going to be used.
Moreno-Riano says the biggest danger is the possibility of humans getting lost as technology grows.
Families can acquire an AI robot, for example, an entity, place it in a nursing home, and rather than visiting their parents or family members there, they just place a robot. They can speak and learn and communicate with you, right? There are also AI applications that can perform funerals and religious rites. So you don't have to have an actual minister doing it, right? So it eliminates the need for humanity in some of these areas where we think humanity is most needed.
For centuries, science and industry have worked together to streamline life's daily chores and processes. Moreno-Riano worries this latest chapter could turn humans into servants of these machines or the people who create them.
The dilemma is that most scientists and engineers that speak about this are not thinking about it.
Sounds like you're saying we have to be very careful in this process not to create Frankenstein.
Absolutely. Or to have somebody else create it for us and we just sit back and watch.
This debate also stretches into the military realm, where AI is becoming a go-to solution for deciding when and where to strike.
It's simple to just have a machine, for example, determine targets of opportunity, right? But what about the human element involved here and the other side of the fence?
It was a key topic of conversation at this virtual military warfare conference sponsored by the National Defense Industrial Association.
I think at some point, it's going to be really hard to keep man in the loop. When you have autonomous platforms, artificial intelligence, machine speed combat, you might not be able to rein that in and ensure that a human in the loop prevents that escalation.
Add to that pressure on the U.S. to keep up with China and other nations moving full speed ahead with AI in combat.
Senior leadership is listening, and they understand that we are stepping into an environment that is just new to us, but we have to do something to get better at it.
Moreno-Riano insists, no matter what segment of life, humans who feel, reason, have compassion and fear God must remain in control.
If we can't do that, then I think the AI role should be limited, right? So that human beings are at the centerpiece, the focal point of key decisions, not machines.
Moreno-Riano says Christians need to pray for wisdom in this area and that the Lord would raise up leaders who are equipped to properly handle this fast-moving technology. He says Regent wants to help turn out those leaders. In Washington, Eric Phillips, CBN News.
Coming up, women across the world are quietly working to share God's word and love with those in need. We're going to tell you how they're doing it when we come back. Stay with us.
Introducing the CBN Bible from CBN.com. Now, an easier way to study the Bible and grow in your faith. Highlight your favorite verse, Read separate versions at a glance. Click and read a commentary. Or cross-reference your favorite verse using the Strong's Concordance. All the right tools to study the Bible, all in one place. The CBN Bible, available at cbn.com/Bible or the iTunes App Store.
This is CBN Newswatch.
Thanks for joining us.
Watch breaking news, exclusive stories and programs, credible news reporting.
We show you what's happening in the world and how you can pray about it.
This is CBN Newswatch, because truth matters. Weekdays at 5 on the CBN News Channel.
Woohoo! Hi, Superbook fans. Here's something else you'll love. It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh, no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! Whoa!
No super falls, man. Come.
Sorry, pardon me. Sorry, excuse me. Ouch!
Are you getting this?
Earn super points to win daily prizes, too. And so much more! Time to get back to my adventures. See you soon! It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
Download the CBN News app, 24/7 news from a Christian perspective at home or on the road. One place for all of your news. Breaking news alerts. Set daily prayer goals and pray for news stories. Read the most important news and watch CBN News Channel live. CBN News, because truth matters. Go to cbnnewsapp.com to get the app today.
Women around the globe are quietly working to share God's love to a dying world, and it all began on Facebook. International Cooperating Ministries, or ICM, began its women's initiative during the 2020 COVID pandemic, and in 1 year, the ministry has helped victims of domestic violence, human trafficking, prostitution, drug abuse, gang violence, and poverty. ICM's president spoke with CBN's Prayer Link about their outreach to women and its impact. And you can see that interview on the Prayer Link tonight at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time, and you can find it on the CBN News Channel. Time now for your Tuesday Tweetable, and here's a message I pray will bless you, but I also encourage you to post tag tweet and share it with others. Now is the time to forget how you feel and remember what is real, and then pray this prayer. God, free me from it if there's no growing purpose in it. Today is a great day to begin again and let go of anything that is not serving you. With that word, I encourage you to make this a terrific Tuesday. That is going to do it for this edition of CBN Newswatch. You can always find more of our programs on the CBN News Channel. You can find them there at any time, as well as online at cbnnews.com. We'd love to know what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can email us at the address at the bottom of your screen, newswatch@cbn.com. You can also reach out and touch us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We certainly would love to hear from you. Again, make this a great day. We'll see you right back here, same time tomorrow. Goodbye and God bless.